Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Fast Facts webinar, where we're going to cover the Master of Science in Finance program. We are so happy that you have joined us, and we look forward to doing a quick overview of the program with you today. So participants have been muted to reduce background noise, and so we want to make sure everyone can hear us. If you are having difficulty hearing us, please let us know and use the chat function, or you can also log back out and log in again. If you have questions as we go along, please go ahead and put those in the chat box as well. We're going to address all questions at the end of the webinar. So just as you think of questions as we go along, feel free to put those in the chat box so we can address them. So quick agenda for us today. We're going to do a few introductions, and then as mentioned, we'll cover some fast facts about the finance program, and then we'll leave a little bit of time at the end for some questions and answers. So I'm your presenter today. My name is Shalise Nakayu. I'm an Assistant Director of Graduate Student Recruitment here at the W.P. Carey School of Business. Right now, I primarily work with our business analytics and online business analytics prospective students, but I've also worked with the finance program before. And I have a special guest that is joining me today. Bayun, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Bayun. I'm the Assistant Director of Graduate Student Recruitment at W.P. Carey School of Business. And I'm the primary recruiter for Master of Science in Finance and Master of Science in Global Logistics program. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Bayun. We're happy to have you with us here. So let's dive right in and look at an overview of the finance program. So the finance program is 12 courses long, which is 32 credits. It's delivered in a quarter format, so that's 3 classes per quarter, which makes the entire program 2 semesters long, or it takes about 9 months to complete. So students typically start in August and then they graduate in May. This is what we call a lockstep and cohort-based program, meaning that students take all of the same classes at the same time in the same order. So you really get to know your classmates. You don't have different classmates in each class, and we're able to make sure that you get through the program quickly and graduate on time by having a predetermined way for students to go through the program. This program also focuses a lot on hands-on applications so that when you graduate, you are ready to hop into a job and really be effective. And part of how we do that is with the capstone project. So for the capstone project, students are in teams of 4, and each team will build a comprehensive and defensible multi-asset, multi-security, and multi-instrument financial portfolio that will meet the requirements of a hypothetical client. Students will have access to Bloomberg terminals, which is a really great resource, as well as other resources to use while working on this project. They'll also have a faculty advisor, and they'll be able to build this portfolio and defend it at the end of the project. This project typically takes place towards the end of the program. So we have an amazing faculty here at the W.P. Carey School of Business. They are top ranked. Our faculty consistently rank in the top 20 worldwide in terms of research output in top ranked journals in finance. They're also very active in the consulting sphere across portfolio management and corporate finance functions. And these capabilities translate directly into the education that you will get in the classroom. So we really want to make sure that our faculty don't only have research and academic experience or don't only have practical experience, but they have both. So they're really able to meld that together as they teach in the classroom. Everything they do translates directly into the academic knowledge that you'll gain during the program. And as we mentioned, you'll have the applied project as well, that capstone project that they'll be able to help you with. So this program also offers a really great return on investment by preparing you to sit for the CFA exam. As you can see from our Professor Tom Bates here from the Department of Finance, any student who goes through the program is uniquely and very well qualified to sit through CFA Level 1 the summer after they graduate. This is because our curriculum is aligned with CBOC, which is the CFA Program Candidate Body of Knowledge. It basically means that the same topics and the same knowledge that you will need to know for this CFA exam will be covered in the program. Students usually will form study groups to prepare for the logistics of taking the exam and practice exams, but everything that you're learning in the program is really going to be helpful for you to pass those exams upon graduation. We do have students that also take CFA level 2, so really good preparation as far as that goes. So these are a long list of competencies and concepts that are covered in the program. I'm not going to cover all of them, but as you can see, the program is very comprehensive, all the way from financial modeling and forecasting to risk management and portfolio evaluation. Hedge funds, derivatives is a big one that I know is covered on the CFA. So you can see that there are a lot of competencies that you will gain as a student in the program. And these really do help you prepare for your career after, as well as those CFA exams that we mentioned. So a question I get a lot are about job titles. So our program helps students to be prepared for careers in corporate finance, financial advising as a financial analyst or a consultant. Credit risk analyst is one that's become very common, especially here in Arizona. Arizona is a great place for finance students. We have a lot of retirees here, so there's a lot of financial advising. We also have a lot of financial institutions here, Wells Fargo, MUFG Bank, several just to name a few. And here's a few more of those recruiters that we mentioned. I mentioned a few of those before, but everything from more of the corporate side, like we said with CVS, to financial advising, like with Vanguard, or to some of these other more analyst or portfolio type companies. Goldman Sachs has recruited our students before. I know that's a question I get quite often. And we offer a lot of resources for you to be able to connect with these recruiters. So let's talk a little bit more about that. Sorry about that. So we offer some career coaching where you will have personalized career coaches. We also have an employer engagement team that works with these employers directly as they work to recruit our students. And we also have information sessions and career fairs. And even though there is a pandemic going on right now, all of those have continued in a virtual format. We find that employers are still willing to engage, even more employers than before now that we have virtual options. So there's definitely a bright future and a lot of opportunity, especially as you work one-on-one with your coach on what your goals are when you graduate the program. If you are an international student, this is a STEM designated program, so you are eligible for the extension of your OPT. That's a really great benefit as well that you'll enjoy as a student here at WP Carey. ASU typically has about 10 to 13,000 international students, so we're very well versed in helping international students navigate all the processes of coming here and also using their OPT. So we've done a real quick overview here today. We would like to turn it over for questions. And as you're thinking of some questions that you might have, I also want to let you know that Bayoun's information is here on the screen, both her email and phone number, and also a link to her Calendly account, where you can schedule a one-on-one appointment with her if you have questions. Here in the recruitment team, we are happy to answer questions that you have about the program or the student experience. We can connect you with current students or alumni. We can also help you through the application process of knowing if you are eligible for admission and how to prepare a competitive application. And if you do get admitted, which we hope you will, we can also help you with all the preparations you need up to starting the program. This includes pre-work for students, help get up to speed, or other things that you may be working on. So let's take a look here and see if any questions have come in. So we do have a question about the GMAT or GRE score and the application process. So in general, we do require a GMAT or a GRE score for our students. We don't have a preference one over another, but certain students who are well qualified depending on their academic background or their employment history may qualify to have that waived. So if you're wondering if you might qualify for one of those GMAT or GRE waivers, please reach out to Bayoun via email, phone, or scheduling an appointment so that we can go over your background with you and see if you are eligible for one of those waivers. If you are eligible, we'll also talk you through the process of how to request that with the admission committee. So great question there, thank you. All right, great question here. What are the benefits of having a graduate program over just a bachelor's degree? That's a really awesome question. So definitely a great return on investment. As you may know, getting a bachelor's degree helps you be more competitive than students with just a high school diploma, and the same holds true for graduate school. You've obtained a higher level of education, a lot more deeper dive into the material. And one of the ways that I like to explain it is in the bachelor's program, you're really learning a more broad education, more broad knowledge, and basically how to learn and how to interact in the classroom and how to learn different topics besides just the one that you're interested in. In a graduate program, you learn a lot more critical thinking skills. You have a lot more group work and teamwork, which is really helpful in the workplace. Again, in this program, it'll help you to sit for the CFA exam. So that's something very helpful. And over your lifetime, you will have a lot higher ability to earn and typically a lot higher salaries. Also with finance specifically, we find that students with graduate degrees are very competitive for recruiters. It's something they definitely look at and consider when they're trying to decide if they will hire someone. So here's a question about cost. Good question. So cost will depend on your status if you're a resident, non-resident, or international student. Again, go ahead and reach out to Bayun and we can send you a breakdown of the total cost as well as financial resources that might be available. All right, Tim has a great question here. Are there different delivery formats like evening, full-time, or online? As of right now, there's only one format for this program. It is in person during the daytime on the Tempe campus. Of course, we're being a little flexible right now due to the pandemic, but it is definitely a full-time program. It's intended to be very rigorous and in-depth. The goal of that is to increase your return on investment by making it so rigorous and intensive that you can graduate in 9 months. You save a lot of money in tuition, and then you're also able to enter the workforce a lot faster. So that is the delivery method. In general, classes are typically Monday through Thursday. Sometimes there are Friday workshops or events depending on what the needs of the students are. But we try to reserve at least one of those days so you can work on those group projects. Good question here about applicants with a 3-year undergraduate degree. So ASU for all graduate students for all programs does require that you have the equivalent of a 4-year bachelor's degree. So if you do have a 3-year degree, reach out to Bayun. We have a list of ways that you can meet that 4th year qualification, and we'll be happy to share that with you and help you understand what you need to submit to ASU in order to be eligible for admission to one of our graduate programs, including the finance program. Here's a good question. What's the difference between doing an MS in finance, or what we call a specialized master's degree here at WP Carey, and doing an MBA degree, particularly an MBA that maybe has an emphasis in finance? So in general, MBA degrees are looked at as more of a mid-career move. Here at WP Carey, we usually require that students have at least 2 to 5 years of post-bachelor's professional work experience. This is because the goal of the MBA program is really to help you get into management type positions, directors, VPs, C-suite type positions. It can be challenging to get those positions without having an MBA degree. The specialized master's degree is open to anyone. It does not require work experience. It does not require that you have a finance background or a business background. But for most students, they see it as more of a launching point to enter a specialized master's program right after graduation to then be more competitive in the workplace, have a higher earning potential, and then potentially pursue an MBA degree, a few years down the line. Someone already has an MBA degree, it doesn't disqualify them from our program, but what you can expect is 12 classes of very intensive finance related work. So if you have already done another degree and you thought, well, I just had a few finance classes, I'd like to go more in depth, that might be a good match to join our program. All right, let's see if any other questions have come in here. All right, I see a good question here about career outcomes. So from the most recent data we have is from 2019. We had about 85% of our students who reported to us that they had received a full-time job offer. Again, these offers range anywhere from financial advising, financial analytics, corporate finance, lots of different opportunities. There are lots of companies that are actually relocating to Phoenix because of the weather and the low cost of living. So more and more opportunities are becoming available all the time. And I think that the pandemic is, only going to continue to increase that. The best way for students to ensure that they can have a job offer when they graduate is to work closely with their career coach to make a plan for what would be maybe their dream job, what are some backup options, and what should be the timeline and process for their job search strategy. The program, as we mentioned, is 12 classes, but there is one elective option that students will have to take a job search strategies class with their career coaches. That's 1 quarter long. A class is always great. I highly recommend it. Really helps you to kickstart your job search process and strategy. And our career management and employer engagement team has recently received a $15 million investment to continue to increase the amount of services they provide, the specific services they provide. And it's a great resource because you have access to those coaches for life once you graduate. So they don't only help you while you're in the program, they can help you at any point down the road. All right, another great question here about what is the batch size and the acceptance rate. So you can find a lot of this information on our website. If you go to the finance page and click on class profile, that'll show you the acceptance rate. Typically we look about 60 students per cohort, anywhere from 1 to 2 cohorts. So a cohort could be anywhere from 45 to 60 students, but will not be more than that. That's how many can fit in a classroom. And really, we just look to accept as many qualified students as possible until the program is full. So you can see a lot there about what a competitive application would look like, what the class averages are, and that'll really help you as you prepare an application for the program. Oh, excellent question here. Does this program include an internship? So we typically don't have an internship as part of the program. Part of that is the accelerated nature where you finish in just 9 months. So for international students, you would not be CPT eligible, but we do have that capstone project, which is applied. It uses simulation software, and you're basically hypothetically investing for a client. You do that process start to finish, and even if the investments weren't successful, you still write a paper about why you made those decisions, why they worked or why they didn't work. We really do aim to give you that hands-on experience. Additionally, the classes are very case-based, so we'll look at real cases from real companies, and that's where the faculty really come into play, because not only do they have research experience and all of this academic background, but as I mentioned earlier, they have a lot of consulting experience and real-world experience. So they're really able to tie everything together into what you're learning in the classroom, but how that translates into real jobs and real life decisions. And so you can rest assured that when you graduate the program, you are ready to apply the skills that you've learned. Again, referencing back to why a graduate degree, something very different from the undergraduate program, because we don't only want you to do homework assignments or quizzes or tests. We really want you to hone those critical thinking skills and those teamwork skills, where you try to solve a problem together, you present those findings, you really have those hands-on opportunities. And so those are integrated right into the curriculum from the beginning. All right, we have a question here about, is the fall 2021 session going to be online or in person? The answer to that is we don't know yet. ASU, as you've seen in the news, is really involved in a lot of the research regarding the pandemic and testing and helping people to stay healthy. So they are looking at all of the data and they are making decisions one semester at a time of what is best for the student. We really care about the student and their health and wellness and also their success. For our current students, we're offering in-person options where classes are only 50% full or less. Face coverings are worn in the classroom and students will social distance. If a student is ill and not able to attend class, or they don't feel comfortable attending in person, or for any other reason, we're also offering an ASU sync option, which is to attend the class live via Zoom. And at WP Carey, we're also recording those just in case someone's in a crazy time zone or something of that nature when the class is being offered. We don't know yet if that will continue next year, but we know that it's worked well for our students so far. So I feel that if the need is there, it's potentially possible that that would continue, but we certainly will post that information online. If you look at ASU coronavirus, you can see a lot of updates of what ASU has decided as far as classes go and how we're keeping students safe and healthy. All right, another good question here about the Alumni Network. So there are over 105,000 WP Carey alumni. That means that you have access to a really, really strong alumni network, not just in finance, but all the WP Carey students. And in addition, you have access to the entire ASU alumni network, which is absolutely huge. Typically, we have at least 80,000 students a year on the Tempe campus. ASU has 4 campuses and online students. So if you want to network with someone who went to ASU, chances are very likely that you will be able to connect with someone anywhere you go. As part of this network, you also have access to a special mentoring program. So many of you may be familiar with trying to connect with people on LinkedIn. ASU students and alumni do have the opportunity to engage through our in-house mentoring, where you can do an actual mentoring program or just a one-off communication. And you can communicate entirely on the platform, whether it's through voice or video or chat. So you don't actually have to exchange contact information in order to get in touch with someone. Many of our alumni and our faculty have joined the network and offered their services up to be a mentor, but they're also being mentored in many cases by others who are on the network. So again, over 105,000 alumni, lots of opportunities to connect with students who went to WP Carey. So I think we have just about 5 more minutes here in the webinar today. I'm going to hang out and see if any other questions get posted. If you do have some last minute questions, go ahead and post them in the chat so that we can address them today. Or as I mentioned, you can email my colleague Bayun or reach her by phone or schedule an appointment with her. She is very happy and eager to help anyone that has questions about the program or their eligibility or the application process. And we continue to work with students all the way up until the program starts. So you'll always have support here at WP Carey. We do believe that business is personal, and we definitely want to make sure that we provide you any assistance that you need as you're working through this process. All right, I don't see any more questions here. So thank you so much for all of you who joined us today from wherever you are or whatever time zone you're in. We really appreciate it. This information session was being recorded. So if you do want a link to the recording afterwards to review any of this information, please contact Bayun and we will make sure to get the recording sent to you. And again, as always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.